So you hear about AI and data science all the time, right? Well, they aren't just some techie buzzwords anymore. No way. They're actually these incredible forces that are actively reshaping our entire world as we speak. So today, we're going to dig into what that future really looks like. All right, let's jump in.
I mean, everyone says it, right? AI is the future. But what does that actually mean? Like, for real, how's it going to change our jobs, our industries, our day-to-day lives? That's the big question we're going to tackle right here.
Okay, so to get our heads around this huge topic, we're going to break it down with a really simple framework. We'll look at it in 3 steps: here, near, and far. First, we'll cover the AI that's already here, all around us. Then we'll peek at what's just around the corner in the near future. And finally, we'll do a little bit of speculating about what's far out on the horizon.
All right, section 1. Let's start with what's happening right now. AI and data science, this isn't some far-off sci-fi concept anymore. It's already woven into the fabric of our world.
I mean, just think about it for a second. In healthcare, AI is already predicting health problems before they happen and tailoring treatments just for you. Over in finance, it's the powerhouse behind stopping fraud and making those lightning-fast stock trades. When you shop, retailers are using it to figure out exactly what you're going to buy next. And in transportation, well, it's the brains behind self-driving cars and making traffic actually flow better. Seriously, it's already everywhere.
But, even with all this amazing progress, it's not all smooth sailing. There are some pretty big roadblocks, major challenges that experts are scrambling to figure out as we speak.
Yeah, and one of the absolute biggest hurdles is something called the black box problem. So here's the deal. We can build an AI that makes these mind-blowingly accurate decisions, but a lot of the time, we have no idea how it got there. We can't explain its reasoning. And that lack of transparency, that's a huge problem, especially when you're talking about high-stakes stuff like medicine or the legal system.
And you know what? All these challenges are kind of tangled together. For AI to even work, it needs these gigantic piles of data, which, right away, brings up all sorts of privacy concerns. Then, even if you get the data and it works, you still got that black box issue we just talked about. And to top it all off, trying to solve any of this takes incredibly smart people, but there's this growing skills gap. There just aren't enough experts to go around.
Okay, so that's the here. Let's shift gears now and look at what's in our near future. We're talking about the trends that are bubbling up right now and are about to define the next big wave of tech.
It looks like there are 4 huge shifts coming. First up, deeper integration. This means AI stops being this separate tool we use and becomes more like an invisible, helpful layer in almost every product. Second, we're about to see a massive leap in raw computing power. Thanks to things like quantum and edge computing, we're talking about processing data at just unbelievable speeds. Third, personalization is going to get crazy specific, tailoring everything to you as an individual. And finally, natural language processing, or NLP, is going to get so good that talking to a computer will feel just like talking to another person. Wild, right?
So, what does all that tech actually do? What's the real-world impact? Well, let's take a look at how this stuff is poised to completely shake up the business world and, yeah, our careers.
If you're in business, this next wave is going to bring 3 massive changes. First, way smarter decision-making. We're talking about ditching the guesswork and using hard data for strategy. Second, a huge boost in efficiency. Intelligent automation will start handling really complex tasks, which is going to slash costs. And maybe the coolest part? This tech is going to unlock brand new ways of doing business, whole new business models that you just couldn't even imagine before.
Naturally, this also completely changes the job market. Everyone's always worried about robots taking our jobs, but the reality seems to be more about creating new kinds of jobs. We're seeing this incredible demand for roles like machine learning engineers and data scientists. These are jobs that need a mix of coding, data skills, and just plain old critical thinking.
All right, you know the saying, with great power comes great responsibility? Well, it's never been more true. As AI gets more and more powerful, the whole conversation about ethics and rules becomes absolutely critical. And this isn't just a problem for the tech nerds to solve, it's a challenge for all of us, for society.
So we've got to start asking some really tough questions, like how do we make sure these AI systems are fair and don't just amplify our own human biases? How do we keep our data private and secure? What are the ground rules for the people building this stuff? And how on earth do our laws catch up to a world where we have intelligent machines? Honestly, these debates are going to define the next 10 years, for sure.
Okay, last stop on our journey. Let's look far into the future. This is where we shift from what's likely to happen soon to some more long-term speculation, all based on where things seem to be heading.
So, in the next 5 years or so, expect AI to be even more deeply integrated into our lives, and we'll probably see the first real rules and ethical guidelines take shape. Fast forward to 10 years from now, quantum computing could totally change the game and automation will just be everywhere. And then, beyond that, we start getting into the territory of AGI, that's artificial general intelligence. This is the idea that AI could actually achieve human-like thinking. If that happens, it would fundamentally redefine everything. Creativity, how we solve problems, society as we know it.
When you zoom out, the potential here is just transformative. We're not just talking about getting smarter gadgets. This is about a complete and total reshaping of our industries and, yeah, our daily lives.
And that really brings us to the final thought here. The speed of all this change is just accelerating like crazy, faster than ever. This tech is coming, no doubt about it, whether we feel ready or not. So maybe the biggest question isn't what the future is going to look like, but are we ready to be the ones who shape it?